Hello, and welcome everybody to this week's live stream. I hope you are all doing well. As you can see, today I've collected a bunch of JMods here, some fantastic JMods that have been working on Varlamore, to break down the latest blog that went out today, which was the Varlamore Activities and Kourend changes. It was quite a chunker of a blog, I will say, because not only did you get a look at four smaller activities we're going to be bringing to Varlamore, but also a host of changes we're looking to implement into Kourend. And if you haven't read it, what are you doing? Go and read it while you're watching this stream. Long story short, we want to get rid of the favour system. Whether you think that's a good thing or a bad thing, looks like it's a good thing for all the comments I've seen so far, so that's good. But we do have a lot of good stuff in there. We're going to be answering all your questions on them. But before we get into that, we've got a few announcements to get through, and then we might just have something to show you before we start. So let's start with !Varlamore. We're back with the final consultation piece, Varlamore Part 1. We've got a breakdown of Varlamore activities and some Kourend changes, so you can use that command to find out more. !Poll. This poll closes tomorrow. It is have your say on the rewards from the Fortis Colosseum and Perilous Moons, two of Varlamore's biggest additions. So go and check that out with !Poll. And of course, !League. So if you didn't tell from our lovely new transition and theme for the stream, Leagues 4 Trailblazer Reloaded releases next week. So if you need some help preparing, check out our Leagues 4 FAQ and teasers blog, which is being updated every day with some new teasers. Now, before we go on to a little reveal video thing, let's just go around and say hello to everyone. Modother, how are you doing?
Good afternoon. Yeah, not too bad. Been working hard on Varlamore things, so it's exciting to bring even more Varlamore things to the stream today.
Excellent stuff, excellent stuff. And Mod Mack, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, thanks, Sarnie. Started doing some initial playtesting for the Colosseum this week. Yeah, it's interesting. It's difficult.
But fun, I imagine. Must be a lot of fun.
Not yet, but we're making it fun.
Okay, good. That's what we like to hear. And finally, the newest JMod in our roster, Mod Rice. How are you doing?
Well, yeah, I'm a bit on the mend right now. I've been ill. I'm now getting better. So looking a bit deflated, but excited to be back. Bored out of my mind.
You're looking great, Rice. Don't be silly. You're looking great.
Thank you.
Yeah. Be easier on yourself, bro. You know? All right. Before we jump into a little overview of what we released today, with less than a week to go before Leagues 4 begins, we're here to showcase the latest Relic reveal. So let's not keep you waiting and see what we've got planned in store for you. Alright, well, we think this is definitely one for all you PVMers out there. So, just to give you a little bit, I can see you all like smiling in the corner of my eye as well. I know that was a bad pun. Leave me to it, please. So yeah, this Relic is doing something a little bit different from some of the others we've previously done, but if you couldn't tell from that clip, this special thrall has the potential to deal AoE damage, unlike the current thralls on offer. And not only that, but this thrall can hit a whopping 15, which is a lot more damage than the Arceuus trio can deal out. And as a bonus, which I was told just before the stream, unlike your regular thralls, this won't last 1 or 2 minutes. Guardians will be by your side for a whopping 30 minutes, which means you can summon them wherever and whenever you want. So, yeah, what do you think? I hope you guys like that. We've got plenty more teasers coming though, so don't worry. Every day we're going to continue the rate at which we're going of teasers, so just keep an eye out. Around about the same time every day. Maybe we'll change it up a little bit, but roughly the same time. And our lovely friends over at the Old School Wiki already have a bunch of tasks for you to start planning the first steps of your trailblazing journey across Gielinor. So go over and then check them out. Maybe you can start doing some early planning. All right. Let's talk about the bulk of this stream then, in terms of Varlamore Activities and Kourend changes. So we're going to start off with the Varlamore Activities, and then we're going to go into the Kourend changes. So first off, I think we should go to the guests that I've got in here to help me out. So let's start then. We'll go in order, I think alphabetical order. Let's start with Agility. What's on offer there?
Well, yeah, we have a new agility course coming to the game. It's going to be set on the... well, it's going to be related to Bone, so I think it's fair to say it's going to be set on the back of a giant skeletal corpse, which is kind of awesome thematics. Yeah, you're going to be doing some stuff to sort of preserve the history of the region by picking parasites off of it, stuff like that. Yeah, pretty cool.
Awesome stuff. Yeah, a little bit different than what we're offering, right, Rice? It's sort of
same
dynamics, but a little bit different.
Something different.
Nice, awesome. And is there anything else that comes along with this, Rice? This agility course specifically?
There is are we talking rewards here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So whatever
okay.
you want. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, you're going to see this pattern repeat, but you're going to get bone shards from this activity. Bone shards are our premium new way to drive traffic towards the best god, the only god. No, just kidding. It's canonically there are multiple gods. Relos. So you'll be collecting bone shards as you do agility, and eventually you'll be able to go and take those over to a different section that Other will be talking about called Relos's Rise, and do cool stuff with them to gain prayer XP.
Awesome stuff. Yeah, there are a few more rewards sprinkled in there that you can get while completing the course. But I think people should check out the blog for that. We worked hard on that, so go and read it. Cool. All right. Thank you very much, Mod Rice. All right. Next up, we have a mining activity. So who wants to take that one?
That's also me. I forgot it was there because there weren't many questions about it. Yeah. I mean, this mining activity is sort of supposed to be a chill, low intensity way to train mining without accruing resources for smithing. Instead, you trade those smithing rewards for more of these bone shards. So it's effectively like mining XP with a little bit of prayer XP on the side. You also get to occasionally find some calcite deposits, which you'll be able to crack open. Maybe find some cobalt that you could sell to the locals. We've got some cool lore brewing there. Or you can just smash them and find a bunch of bone shards and get even more prayer XP. Lots of prayer in this region. But yeah, to clarify on the mechanics of it, because you'll be getting bone shards, stackable resource in your inventory, so there's less of like running to the bank to drop your stuff off. You can just sit there for a really long time. There's going to be occasional sort of like streams of water flowing down the calcium deposits, which will sort of make them more malleable, easier to mine. So if you pay a little bit of attention, click every now and then, you'll be getting pretty well boosted XP rates. But if you want to just click and look at your second screen or your first screen for a minute, then you can do that as well.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Rice. And speaking of these bone shards, why don't we talk about the prayer activity next?
Yeah, so obviously they're bone shards are kind of the core element of this prayer activity. You know, you're taking your bones up to Ralos's Rise. You're gonna do some fun little blessing of them. You chisel them down into bone shards and sacrifice them to the gods in a pool of wine. And it's really a sort of it's another low intensity skilling activity that it's designed around being this sort of very ritualistic kind of thing. That kind of thematic was built from this sort of core like Roman sacrifice kind of theme. And yeah, it offers us this really nice opportunity to gift players these bone shards from other activities. Really, like, they can be token amounts, they can be non-token amounts. Like, it all comes down to like how we feel we want to be rewarding players. Rather than just like dumping a hell of a load of bones straight into the economy, we can actually just give players sort of roundabout prayer experience. And, you know, I really like the kind of thematic we're going for with it. And it's really cool. Like, you're going to be able to use like a specific sort of libation wine to get some bonus XP as well. And we're having some discussions as well about like potential secondary rewards from it. As like, I know that there have been discussions about the Bonesack, which, you know, I reckon that will come up in the next few days for us.
Indeed. I think we've got a talk scheduled in on Monday now to go over all the feedback. So don't worry, we are reviewing all of your comments. So don't worry. And finally, then we should move on to the sneakiest of the activities. I think Mod Mack's up for this one.
Sure. So I'm just looking at chat, loving the Bonesack thing. Sure. So the thieving activity. So we've got quite a few ways of training thieving in the game, but they're all fairly high intensity. So the idea with this is kind of like a mid-level, low-intensity thieving training method. The basic premise of it is that there'll be some shady character hanging around in one of the more affluent areas of the city, and he asks you to go into the houses and pinch stuff. So the player goes in and they kind of search through shelves and storage units, almost like fishing, picking out things to steal, and then you take that stuff back to this shady character and turn it in, and that's when you get your big chunk of XP. You don't get any real source of wealth from doing this. However, as you're searching the shelves and other stuff in the house, you have a chance to come across handkerchiefs. These handkerchiefs can be used to pay off or bribe some urchins that are hanging around in the market. These urchins will distract citizens, which otherwise have a very low success rate on pickpocketing. So while they're distracted, you can go ahead and just click, and pickpocket, because that feels quite good when you get like that chain. Say you're pickpocketing knights or something, and you get that long chain of pickpocketing. It just feels good. It's like that, but constant while they're distracted. Hope that makes sense. And we'd like it so that players can kind of leech off of each other's sessions. So if you see someone else who's got a citizen distracted, you can go on and do your pickpocketing then. And that's kind of it.
Awesome. Thank you, Mac, very much. All right, and then finally, we've got the Kourend changes. Now, to give you a summary, it's basically what I said at the start of the stream. We're removing the favour system, or at least we want to. That's the plan. And of course, there's loads of rewards that come from the favour system, considering you have to gather favour from the 5 different households of the region. So we're going to really be distributing them across different quests, achievement diaries, and even some of them are just going to be natural unlocks once you get over to Kourend for the first time, which is nice. And alongside that, also, we're making a few transport changes, including reworking the minecart system a little bit, adding some new ones, just making it a little bit better to get around Kourend and Kebos as well. So yeah, that is pretty much it, I would say. Again, if you want to take a read of the blog and all the breakdowns of everything, especially the Kourend changes, because there is a lot in there, ! Varlamore, go and check out the blog while we're chatting away and answering your questions. So I think what we should do is jump straight into those, and and we'll start with the Varlamore activities, and then we'll come back to the Kourend questions. So, first question is, what would be the advantage of doing the Varlamore Agility course over the Seers or Canifis Rooftop courses?
So with Seers and Canifis specifically, Canifis starts at 40, Seers starts at 60. This one's positioned at 50, so it's sort of in between. It does mean you have to, go somewhere else if you're planning on grinding all of agility in one go. But if you're doing it in chunks, you might think, you know what, I hate Falador. I hate the way it looks. I don't want to go anywhere near it. I want to do something different. We're planning for this this course to be like a little bit of a spectacle, so it should be pretty cool to go there and spend some time there. You'll also be gaining prayer XP in the meantime, so if you're planning to get your Graceful set at like a course where you're going to get it much quicker, like Seers, or maybe you're waiting until way later in the game because you've identified that Graceful's a little bit of a trap, then yeah, you'll be able to get a different kind of reward here with the prayer experience, several other rewards as well.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Rice. Speaking of agility courses, could you consider the Varlamore Agility course as a chance to add an alternate source of Amylase, staminas, or marks of grace?
Yeah. I mean, this is something that people ask for a lot. I don't think this is the place for it. We're doing agility on the back of like a giant bone corpse. It sort of screams bone shards and doesn't really scream Amylase crystals. But I'm sure that we could design courses where you got Amylase in a slightly more direct manner, maybe like a hybrid herbal or agility thing. I don't know. It's an interesting idea. Definitely, maybe for the future. Got 2 more batches to go.
Indeed. Again, we're having a conversation on Monday to go through all your feedback. And we'll come out with a updated blog after those discussions. So yeah, we will see. All right. Next question on the topic of agility: will there ever be a way to make Graceful kits not require another full set of Graceful?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people talking about this one. As we add more sets into the game, it does get like increasingly hard to collection log them. Can't really speak to it myself. Definitely not in the scope of what we're doing for this thing, but we can flag it and look into alternative ways. Maybe allow your magic wardrobe. It is called a magic wardrobe to switch between them. Something like that sounds reasonable.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool idea. All right, thank you, Rice. All right, we'll come away from agility, so you don't have to answer any more questions for a bit, Rice. And we'll start with what Mod Other mentioned earlier. Could we update the Bonesack to actually carry bones to help with a new prayer activity?
I think we can, but obviously you'd have to complete Rag and Bone Man 3 first, to have this sort of reasonable unlock sort of condition for it. We are looking at quality of life options around the prayer activity, and whether or not you can sort of unnote your bones there, or like bones and wine, so that like you can just bring everything and sit there for like 10 hours and train your prayer. Like, we're having these discussions about like what we actually do with this, but if we are to give the Bonesack that functionality, we will have to look at where we sort of put that and how you unlock it. And it would feel odd to simply just say, oh look, the Bonesack can hold bones now. So we'll probably have discussions on like what we do. I big supporter of a Rag and Bone Man for Varlamore. You got to run around. You got to do that nice, slow, multi-step cleaning. We'll probably make it 100 bones this time as well, just for the hell of it.
The man wants bones. Just give him bones.
Exactly.
Varlamore, of course he wants bones from Varlamore.
We've got a whole new continent for the man.
This is the thing. Did the Rag and Bone Man know about Varlamore beforehand? And now he's discovered it, and he's like, I want every single bone from every single creature Varlamore has to offer. And don't come back to the main
reward for that?
You do.
as a reward for that, he empties the bone sack so you can actually store bones inside it. Genius. We've done it.
I feel like there's more lore there though. That grumbling that happens in his bag, there's something else in there than just bones. All right, yeah. Well, yeah. Maybe in. I mean, I don't know if I'd like to see Rag and Bone Man 3, but just for the memes, we should do it. All right. Next up, then, we'll keep on the prayer grind. For the new prayer training method, why does the upgraded Libation Wine cause you to use fewer bones?
Yeah, so first of all, I think there's a misunderstanding in reading the blog there, but what do we expect? You don't use fewer bones. You're effectively contributing less shards per wine that you sort of use at the activity, and it's kind of one of those ones where it's like, to me, from a thematic side, it makes sense that you want to get more holy favor out of your sacrifice. You've got to use more wine per thing. To me, there's this lovely logical step there, but also more from a balance perspective. You're going to be getting more XP out of the shards you use by using a libation wine, so that should come with some degree of trade-off. You could have this more involved process where you have to keep refilling the wine a bit more often, and you get more XP. You fill the wine less often, you get a bit less XP. It just feels like the right kind of way to have those sort of available levers to pull on balance. And, things can be changed with, how many shards you can contribute with wines, whether or not you can put 10 wines in and then sort of sacrifice your shards. So I think there's a lot, it gives us a lot of room to play with the balance there. But if we just said, hey, this wine does the same amount of shards, it's just straight up better. And that really just means there's no decision making, there's no choice, there's no need to sort of prep yourself for the activity. And yeah.
Just curious, do you have an idea in mind of what the player's actually doing with the wine? Are they soaking the bones in wine before they...
Yeah, so the plan is you're going to put them into a libation pool, maybe a really big bowl that drips down into some channels, and then you sort of sacrifice the bones into the wine, which will dry it up, because I don't know, I would assume you're splashing them a bit too much, or potentially it's absorbing the wine or something, and potentially the gods are just setting it on fire and burning it away.
I'm hearing get the bones drunk, take them on a good night out, and let them ascend to the heavens.
Rag Bone Man 3. We've sorted it.
Wine and dine the Bone Man.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right, I'm getting sold on Rag and Bone Man 3 more and more now. Everyone, okay, this is good. All right, we'll come away from Rag and Bone Man and the prayer activity for a bit, and we'll talk about trickery with our next question. For House Thieving, could you implement a percentage chance that the house you are currently infiltrating has the city guard or owner return, starting a clock for you to make it out without being detected?
Yeah, I like this idea. I think we need something in the house that means you can't just totally AFK the whole thing. The idea I had originally was maybe the owner is just walking around between different rooms and you need to not be in the room stealing stuff when they come in. Yeah, we'll do something with that to make sure it's not completely brain dead.
Yeah, don't make it as broken as Oblivion NPCs and their detection meters, because that's it's a nice middle ground between that and what's the quest that everybody hates that you have to go and steal from the house? Is it rat catchers? Maybe I'm thinking of rat catchers.
Yeah, you have to do an extended infiltration scene and rat catchers.
Yeah. It's between that's where we need to get, Mac, between those points.
I'm happy to just make the whole activity rat catchers if that's what people want.
Yeah, I say we just lock all future content behind rat catchers, actually. It's a quest that people are going to want to do at some point in their account anyway, so just
sure.
bite the bullet.
Yeah. We'll just make all quest rat catchers at this point. Right. It's fine. Cool. All right. That's yeah. I'm excited to see what we do with that idea, Max. So thank you. All right. Next question then is: are there going to be higher level skilling activities for Varlamore in the future?
Ooh,
Sure, there's more releases
yeah.
coming.
Yeah. I think we were all three talking about it, but like there's 3 batches here, right? So if we released like level 90 plus content in batch 1, and then we backpedaled for batch 2 into level 80 content, and then we backpedaled for batch 3 to level 70 content, then wouldn't feel right. So we're starting low and working our way up.
Yeah, it definitely feels like we're at the lower end of what we will be doing before the end of the 3 batches.
Do you want to say something, Modava, or?
I don't really have a lot to contribute that's beyond that. I'm very much of the position like we've got this batch 1 of Varlamore, and we don't want to say to a large majority of players that there's nothing here for them, and come back in whenever batch 3 releases to have content that you can engage with. So I think we're in a good spot here. We've got room to say go up 15 levels for the next set of content, and then up 15 again for some really high level content. So I like where we are basically with this, and we've got a lot to look forward to.
Yeah, agreed. There's still so much possibility to explore, especially with the next batches we want to put out for Varlamore. So yeah, we'll see. Let's get through part 1 first, I think, and then we'll and then we'll go on to the rest. All right, cool. We got one more question then before we take a few chat questions about these, and then we'll move on to the Kourend changes. So first up is: would a second GE be possible in Varlamore?
So that's something that came up like way back when we started talking about like what are we doing with Varlamore? What are we putting in the city? What are we putting in the rest of the area? And there were a lot of reasons to not want to do that. Some, come from a sort of a narrative side of like, why would they have this Grand Exchange that's connected to the wider world's Grand Exchange and all of that? And there are some sort of community ones, like why split up the player base sort of to multiple different, like a Grand Exchange is a hub really. And you don't really want to split all your players off into lots of different corners. We're an MMO, we should try and keep places that are busy feeling busy. And also our current Grand Exchange has like 4 different teleports and transport links. Like any new Grand Exchange is not going to be the optimal Grand Exchange. So are players even going to sort of path their way through there to do things? Potentially not.
Maybe maybe this whole time Varlamoreans have actually been buying half of the resources on the GE up just to gather everything.
That's where the GE tax comes from.
It's Varlamore, guys. It's Varlamore. All right, cool. Thank you, Modella. All right, we'll answer some chat questions about Varlamore, and then we'll go on to the Kourend changes. So first up is: will bones or lizardman fangs be able to be turned into bone shards?
So, bones, generally, yes. We have a sort of provisional list of bone types that you'll turn into shards with provisional numbers and things like that. Lizardman fangs would be a really cool one to do, but I would have to go and look at sort of, what quantity of lizardman fangs are coming into the game and from where, and, how does that convert to player experience at the end of the day. I would like to bring things from Kourend and Kibos into sort of Varlamore. Like, they're a similar region. Like, it feels like there should be a lot of sort of cooperative content there. So Lizardman Fangs, I will definitely be having a look at.
Awesome. All right. Next, second to last question then. Will there be an achievement diary for this region?
I think in internally the discussion is we'd like to see it at some point, but as we've sort of repeatedly said, this is multi-batch stuff. Like batch 1 may not justify a brand new achievement diary, but certainly by batch 3 there's probably going to be enough content to justify at least a few levels, and eventually we expect there would be. I think there's a lot of exciting reward potential for what we could do with achievement diaries in Varlamore, so I'd like to see it at some point for sure.
What would the
also,
reward be? We've already got a full set.
Oh,
Like
I
for
think
the-
that's a bigger question, Mac. That's a massive question.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I was just came off the top of my
There's
head.
ideas. Some people, I'll touch on one, though I no promises, but some people have asked the question, oh, what about using the Perilous Moon sets with a Slayer helmet? It won't work, just like Barrows. And I think the idea, I don't know whether it should come from an achievement diary, but we've already sort of got the Shazian 5 helm getting converted into a Slayer helmet for the Kourend stuff, so who knows? Maybe that's an interesting spot for the Varlamore diary, but no guarantees. It might be OP.
Yeah, that's very fair. I wonder if chat have any ideas, and they already have ideas popping in. So maybe we'll have a scour through that after if we decide to do an achievement diary. Cool. All right, the last one then is the agility course closer to Rooftops or something like Sepulchre?
Sorry, Rooftops or something. I wouldn't say that it is like Sepulchre. Sepulchre's a fantastic piece of content, super high intensity. I don't think that's what we're going for with this. But we're aiming for a little more engaged than Rooftops. There are spots where if your brain is turned off, you may struggle. If it's even 5% output capacity, you're probably going to be okay. Yeah, that's where I'd describe it.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Mod Rice. All right, we are going to go away from Varlamore for now, and we're going to start talking about Kourend changes, because we've got plenty of questions to talk about through these, because there was a lot of content to digest from the changes. So, first up, what about those who have already done Kourend Favour? Honestly, nothing but a sense of pride and accomplishment. To be real though, this is especially a personal take. It would seem very weird to have something that is like a discontinued item almost for players that have already done it. It just feels a bit strange. I don't know what your guys' thoughts are, but that's from me personally.
Yeah. A lot of people going oh, I spent all this time. It's okay, cool, and you benefited from it all this time. It's good. You get to say that you did a piece of old school content that will never again be in the game. That's unique to you and every other person who played it. Good job.
Yeah. So unfortunately, there just will be nothing for those players. Maybe we can reference it somewhere or somehow, but unfortunately, there won't be anything. Maybe we'll come away from this meeting on Monday having some further discussions on it, but at the moment it's nothing. So sorry, people. Okay, next one is, can the grouping tab be moved back to the journal side panel now, please, since the favour is going?
So this is something that we are going to have a little look at. I think there's a lot of agreement from us that people would prefer to have it back there, but it makes a lot of sense to have it with the rest of the grouping options. I mean, personally, I use it as a teleport menu, except when I need to do Shield of Arrow, then I use it to join the chat. But it is fundamentally a grouping feature, so it probably should be with the rest of the grouping features so that new players can find it more easily. And also that does mean that if we ever need to introduce a new sort of page into the side panel, we know that there's room where the favour tab used to be.
Yeah, I think if we had moved it not so long ago, maybe in the last few weeks or whatever, it would have maybe been a bit more prevalent to move it back. But it's been a while now. I feel like people are used to it. But maybe there's some other things we can do to help source it for newer players and just people in general. So maybe that's something to think about outside of the Kourend changes. Cool. All right.
Yeah.
Next.
Oh yeah, no, I was just agreeing with you. Don't worry.
Thank you, Modava. Thank you. Okay, we can scrap question 3 because that was the same as question 1. So we'll go on to the new question 3, which is: can we make the farming patch protection an easy diary reward rather than the medium, so as not to lock out limited accounts?
Yeah, so we've had this discussion almost, I think, as soon as the blog went live. It wouldn't be too much of an issue for us to make it an easy diary reward rather than the medium, so that's what we'll probably be doing. It's nice and simple, really.
Yeah, for on that point, I feel like we might touch on it further down, but there's definitely a few other areas of the Kourend changes that we put out that we want to look at to make sure that we're not pushing out those players that have already unlocked those things, or at least the type of accounts that want to still unlock them that way. It's weird. It's different from the normal. I feel like a lot of players were coming at it from like, you chose to limit yourself, which again is always a point that comes up with limited account builds. But I think for this specifically, these rewards have been around for what, 6+ years, maybe even longer. So it's a little bit different than just like saying, well, they limited themselves, they lose out. So yeah, we're going to be discussing it all on Monday. Cool. All right. The next one is then sort of on the same point. Can you move the Tithe Farm access to the easy diary?
Another one that we're sort of having some discussions about, but we think that the quest requirement of Depths of Despair, it's doable for skillers. You know, there are non-combat options for, you know, if you want to kill the snake. So at the moment, it's looking like we're going to stick with that becoming the requirement rather than the easy diary. That's sort of all there is to say on that one.
Cool, awesome. And speaking of limited accounts, what about 807 Iron accounts and access to our Lizard Shamans? Will 807 Irons be able to farm a Dragon Warhammer?
Yeah,
so
I think. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, no, Rice, please take it away.
Okay, yeah, for the Dragon Warhammer stuff, it feels appropriate that 807s should be able to do it. It's a combat activity, and it's and 807s are fundamentally combat accounts, so we'd like to let them do it. We floated some ideas for how we might be able to achieve that. I think we feel comfortable saying that we're committed to finding solutions for all of these things. These whole like, oh, I'm a limited account and I've lost this thing. We want to find solutions for all of it. We're just not sure exactly what to promise right now, but we can promise at least that you will be able to do these things.
Yeah, for those of you asking in chat, an 807 is a combat-only pure, just for those who are unfamiliar with the term. Cool. All right. Thank you, Mod Rice. All right. Next question then. Locking the Arceuus spellbook behind a quest makes it no longer obtainable for specific account builds. Is there any way you can fix this?
Yeah, this is another 807 one. Again, feels appropriate that they should be able to access some things that they've historically had access to. There's a lot of utility tied up in the Arceuus spellbook for 807 accounts. Prayer training, there's the respawn teleport for easy access to Ferox. So don't really want to take that away for no good reason. It doesn't feel like a particularly good reason to take it away, so exploring options to keep it in the game for those players.
Awesome stuff. All right, we're going to stick on the theme of things that might be limiting, or at least a barrier. Will the Arceuus quest now be a barrier to making blood runes on Zeah, or the true blood altar, or both?
So this change is only going to affect the one on Zeah. So any true blood altar enjoyers are going to be unaffected by this change.
There you go, True Blood Altar gang. Let's go. All right. The next question then is: will the spell level change reorder our spell book? Wouldn't this be problematic for muscle memory?
Yes, it will reorder your spell book. Yes, it will be problematic for your muscle memory. I don't know, we're not going to guarantee that the game's never going to change, we're never going to add new spells, stuff like that. You're going to have to relearn things sometimes. It's just too limiting to commit to, like, no, these icons will never move. Just relearn it.
Yeah, it will be. Yeah, so sometimes they're just necessary. I feel like, especially for something like this, it's just one of those things that just have to happen. So, yeah. All right. Next question then. This was I saw this on Reddit and I thought this was a potential interesting idea, but obviously we'll see from the answer. Instead of removing soldier activity, could healing wounded soldiers reward us with a small amounts of hit points XP? As this would be a niche training method for HP only.
Yeah, so I thought this was interesting when I first read it. The thing is, we have a few of these hit points only training methods, but they're not exploits, but they're kind of like not really intended to be training methods. We're not really too interested in encouraging it. The thing is, if we made it so that every soldier you heal gives you 10 XP, some guy is going to go ahead and he's going to do that all the way to 99. And then we're going to get people complaining about XP rates for that, which is a bit of an issue. One thing we could do is just leave it in, and maybe it's just like a little well-buildy thing. You can go and heal these soldiers if you want, but I think Mod Ed has already nuked it out of the game. We could put it back if people really want it, but I think at the moment the answer is no. Unless anyone else wants to chime in here.
Yeah, I think we're in a position where, like, there are ways to get hit points experience independent of other combat experience, and there's no real need for us to look at, like, here's a whole new method to do something you can already do faster. I would support making sure that it's still there as, like, a world-building thing you can do. I think there's something quite, like, soul-soothing to going and helping out. But yeah, I don't think it needs to give XP, and it's not given XP before, as far as I'm aware, so...
I just really want to know how they keep healing and then hurting themselves so quickly. Like, maybe they're just in maybe they're hurting... Yeah, maybe they just want to be healed all the time. I don't know. I mean,
fighting lizard men, dude. They're in a bad way.
Yeah, that is true. They're plagued with the previous battles of the lizard men.
I haven't learned about anti-poison, so they're just stuck there, eating through the poison. It's not great.
Yeah, they're okay for like 5 minutes, and then they're like, oh, not again. Cool. All right. Thank you, everyone, for your answers for that. All right, next question then we have is, could the clue step require any plate body rather than specifically tier 2?
Tier 2 or higher sounds reasonable. We don't want to lower the requirements for any existing clues. But yeah, tier 2 or higher is fine.
Yeah, I feel like that was an easy enough change. I feel like when I mentioned it, it was like, yep, that's pretty straightforward. All right, next question then is, are we going to increase ad requirements to the anglerfish spot? As I know I saw some concerns around that.
Yeah, we spoke briefly as a team about this, kind of acknowledged that there is a bit of a problem there. We haven't really agreed on any requirements that would actually solve this. It might be worth noting as well that if you look at the players at this activity, not necessarily all of them are bots. If you look at the way they move and they behave, some of them might just be multi-loggers. Yeah, there is some kind of botting problem going on there. It's something we want to address. We just don't have a good answer to it right now as a dev team.
Thank you, Mod Mack. Sorry, Mod Other's message in our chat distracted me about a very needy cat.
You'll have to forgive me.
All right, next question is, what is going to happen to the statue from Architectural Alliance?
Not a whole lot. It's just going to be there by default.
Just going to be chilling. It's going to be big chilling. All right, excellent. All right, next question then is there a potential to replace the favor grind with a mini quest, since it was a fun way to gain the trust of different houses?
Was it
I'm
a
not
fun
laughing at the
raid?
question. I'm laughing at the cat.
I was highlighting things in my script and just saw like a wah, and I was like, what?
For this, we talked about it a little bit. It does feel like a lot of people are saying, like, oh, this was a cool world building thing. We don't disagree. It is a cool world building thing. It's just also hella annoying. It's super annoying to do. It's not fun content. Pushing a plow for 7 hours, it's not fun. So we're getting rid of it for that reason. Doing something in the future that sort of explores these activities, sure, yeah. But I feel like A Kingdom Divided is a fantastic quest that does a really great job of exploring the dynamics of the houses. And before that, you do a little quest to explore each of the houses. So, yeah, that might be enough.
Yeah, agreed. And again, like yeah, Modrice is right. I love the little quests that are the build up to A Kingdom Divided, and then A Kingdom Divided just like slaps everything together, which like, oh, so good. Go and play it if you haven't played A Kingdom Divided. What a great quest. Awesome. All right. The next question then is, can we get a way to either re-obtain the memoirs or transmog the Book of the Dead into it for Fashionscape?
So, probably not. There is sort of a discussion that would have to be had on that case where we have 2 items with different combat stats, and there's an element of having, like, you don't want players to look at you and think you've got the combat stats of the memoirs when you've actually got the Book of the Dead. So I think that would come into part of a larger conversation about, like, can we let players really go buck wild with transmogs and sort of keep all their combat stats versus, you know, having to have Fashionscape that is effectively statless. So as it stands, probably not. But I wouldn't be opposed to us doing some kind of Book of the Dead ornament kit or something that could have like a fun sort of Kourend's Memoirs inspired color scheme. But I think that would be as far as we can go. We wouldn't be able to make it look the same, just because the visual clarity of that just then gets completely destroyed.
Awesome. Thank you, Moldova. All right, let's talk about minecarts next. Could the minecarts still require you to visit them once rather than being unlocked automatically?
We're not planning for this to be the case. It's a cool little bit of exploration, but it's ultimately just a bit annoying, and you're going to end up exploring those areas through the minecart system anyway, so it might see more traffic if we just don't do it. Just trying to get rid of some annoyances in Kourend, that's all.
Cool, awesome stuff. All right, and then we've got 2 more questions before we've got a few chat questions about Kourend. So the first one is, what is your stance about changing Kourend Castle teleport to inside the Slayer dungeon, since there's one on Xerix 2?
We had an interesting discussion about this. It doesn't necessarily make a lot of sense. Like, the guy that originally wrote the teleport to Kourend Castle, like, why would he want to be teleporting straight into the catacombs instead? It could be an interesting toggle that you could unlock, but as far as I'm aware, the Kourend Castle teleport puts you pretty close to the catacombs as is. It would probably, you know, it's sort of it would be very, very minor quality of life to people that only want to go to the catacombs, but it doesn't make a lot of sense to just sort of change the teleport to go there.
Yeah, cool. All right, and then the final one is, can we also refund the rune cost for adding Kourend teleport to the portal room or portal nexus?
It's not straightforward to do that. We can look at it, but no promises. And there's also just an argument for why. Like, because it has a lower requirement now, because it has fewer runes. It's not like people haven't been benefiting from it all this time. So, yeah, we'll look into it, but no promises.
Yeah, for what it's worth, there are a few things that are being refunded, including like the fairy ring and I think the unlock for the mine carts. Might be wrong with that one, but that we're looking to refund those. So So yeah, you will get some refunds, which is always a good thing, I think. So cool. We did have some chat questions in here, but I feel like we've already answered the majority of them, which is good. So I think because we've only got like 7 minutes left, we should probably show off some UGC that you guys have made, which is always lovely to see. So can we get the first one up? Oh, here we go. It's the Mod Druid did some magic behind the scenes to get this working properly, which was so thank you, Mod Druid. But this is the it's IRL cannon, which is pretty cool.
If we're being honest, we did rip into this slightly for not respecting the correct angle changes.
Yeah, I mean, chat has already picked up on the fact that that is the case. So yeah, we we had the same thing. It's still cool though.
Very cool though. Just you know, it rotates at 45-degree intervals, not 120 or whatever's happening there. But very cool, very cool. Just wrong, but very cool.
It's all right. 154 James, your work is appreciated. We are also just tearing it down clearly, which is great. I wanted to shoot little pinballs though. That's what I want. Make it happen, please. All right, we'll go on to the next one then. Is Gnome Child Cross Stitch, which is very cool. I do love a bit of cross stitch. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, I can't cross stitch to save my life, but I enjoy looking at it.
I would decorate my house with cross stitches of the Gnome Child.
There you go. There you go. I feel like we're missing a market here. Old school themed cross stitch packs.
I feel like one's fine if you have more than one cross stitch Gnome Child. There's something going on there. You know?
It's just a wall of 50 of them just staring you down every time guest comes round. Excellent.
You got to walk down a corridor, and they just get larger as you get along the corridor.
Yes. All right. I want to see that. I want to see that on someone's wall. All right. The next one we have up are these 3D printed Slayer helmets. Now, in the comments, someone said an amazing assortment of 3D printed Slayer helmets, desktop display size with color coordinated tea lights. It's 3D printed in smooth resin and hand finished. So I think we have a second image of this, Mod Druid. There we go. All lit up and looking amazing, I'm not going to lie. Very, very cool.
You guys rocking any of those?
No.
No.
I'm not good enough.
I don't know if the bottom left one is the Abyssal Demon one. If it is, that's the one I've got right now, because I've got way too many Abyssal Demon heads, because I'm going dry at Sire. Where
I have the default one. Does that count?
Yeah, I've got that one.
It's on there.
Is it? Oh.
Yes, it's back there. It's back there. We're all right, Mac. We're all right. I've seen a lot of people in here shouting Bionicles, which like.
Yeah, I see it. I see it.
Hell yes, we love some Bionicles. Let's go. All right, next one up, we've got some embroidery then with the login screen, which is actually really cool. It's very, very cool.
What world are they trying to get into is the real question.
I'm trying to figure it out, and I can't. I don't know if
doxing them.
All right, and then finally we have an attack cape costume from Educational Disc 6602. Onescaper's Halloween fit, a wonderful attack cape costume complete with Rune Scimitar and Black Kite Shield. So, and also left hat. Is he a left hat?
Santa hat.
Yeah.
Come on, a Santa hat. Yeah.
What a
It's got to be free to play, right? Otherwise, why has he got a rune?
No, this mad's taking on Inferno with that get up. Like, he knows what he's doing. All right, yeah. Someone in the chat said 99 attack running Rune Scimitar. Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah. Doesn't need better weaponry because he's so accurate already.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing. All right, awesome. I think that will be it. We'll go through the commands to wrap up the stream, but I feel like we've cut this quite well on time, which is good. So, exclamation mark Varlamore. We're back with our final consultation piece for Varlamore Part 1. We've got a breakdown of Varlamore activities and some Kourend changes, so use exclamation mark Varlamore to see all of that. Obviously, you've got our answers from here today as well. Exclamation mark poll. This poll closes tomorrow, so make sure to go and vote and have your say on the rewards from Fortress Colosseum and Perilous Moon, which is 2 of Varlamore's biggest additions. So use that command to check that out. And finally, of course, exclamation mark leagues. We are less than a week away from Leagues 4 Trailblazer Reloaded. So if you need some help preparing, check out our Leagues 4 FAQ and teaser blog for all the information. And we will be doing many more teasers into the run-up of launch, which I'm very, very excited for because I am going to be off. So, not for leagues. It just lined up really nicely with my birthday, so I can't complain. Awesome. All right. Well, thank you to Mod Mack and Mod Rice for being on stream. How are you guys doing? You feeling good after that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good to chat
Good.
about the skilling activities.
Indeed, indeed. And again, like we said, we will be taking your feedback and discussing them on Monday. So we'll be back with a feedback blog next week for you. And just some little updates. We have a blog coming out tomorrow, which will be quite a chunky one, and I've been working on in the background for a little while. As well as should be some feedback points for yesterday's blog around the new rat boss. So yeah, look forward to that. Yes, I'll say a big thank you to all of the mods in chat for helping out, Mod Druid for behind the scenes, and of course, I've been your host, Mod Sarnie, and I hope you have a lovely rest of the week. Have a good day. See ya.
Bye.